What is going on, everybody? This is Jordan Sarmo, your host. We got RossDuhBoss.
What up, everybody?
Everybody, we got the squad back. And
How do you
man,
think? Do you feel like your soul has been recovering over the last 4 days, or do you feel like you need potentially 3 more days to rest and acquire the power beneath you?
I think they missed you, Ross. I think they missed your all of your accents, so to say. Oh my goodness, man. I mean, it's been a week since me and you both been on here, and again, we've been doing the Instagram lives. Again, really quick, shout out to Speak Truth Without Fear. You can go to our website, speaktruthwithoutfear.com, Monday through Thursday at 9 p.m. We are doing the Instagram lives on our Instagram channel. And tonight, when you're listening to this, will be tomorrow. So last night, tonight, me and Ross is going to be on with Marine, Bannon, and Strut. It's going to be a great Instagram live. So if you're listening to this now and you didn't get to check it out, definitely go. I mean, dude, last night's conversation of our Instagram live was incredible. We had Kevin, known as King Cat. We had Craig Long, and dude, we talked about Marxism. We talked about race. It was probably one of the top 5 lives that we've done, and it was a beautiful conversation. So I mean, the content that we're putting up, man, we're doing it for free. It's out there. We're doing it Monday through Thursday every single night. So again, if you haven't checked us out on the Speak Truth Without Fear channel, definitely do it. And Ross is on twice a week, Tuesday and Thursday nights. But let's get into it. I think the biggest stories that's happening right now, and I talked a little bit about this last night, Ross, is I think one of the most annoying things is that we constantly have to fight is the media narrative. And the reason for that is because whenever there's a breaking story that actually matters and it goes against the narrative of the media, the mainstream media, they throw anything they can to just distract, which is why it's so important that all of us are just turning off the dang television and we're not getting our information from there anymore.
Or really, you have to analyze it the way that you would be an FBI officer analyzing the testimony of someone that may or may not be lying and you can't tell.
Yes. So true.
Like that, and they're really smooth at it. They use humor and stuff a lot. Don't tell me now these idiots are broadcasting that there's a chance that Trump is still the president, and there's some kind of a fraud that's gone on that none of the Supreme Court caught and none of the other judges seem to have caught. It is absolutely outlandish. This is yet again another attempt when they are basically overlooking massive components of that make it drastically different than all of the other times that have happened. That makes it the reason that conservatives are harping on it is because it's actually a legitimate forensic audit, which is what they've been asking for the whole time. And so anyway,
it's so true. No, yeah. I think the two things that we have to get to the bottom of, and Bannon was talking a lot about it this morning, is the two main things that we cannot let our foot off the pedal is we need to get to the bottom of November 3rd, 2020. And we have to get to the bottom of the Wuhan lab of COVID. Because if we get to the bottom of these two things, and this is why the media they're working extra overtime right now. This is why they've been fighting to not let, again, we're going to get into all of this. But if we get to the bottom of these two main pillars, the entire thing shatters. The entire thing falls.
The belief of the entire thing shatters, which is really the important part, is people's ideology has a gaping hole in the armor, and then it's way easier to go to bat to help those people kind of wake up to some of the harsh realities that are probably true.
Exactly.
And because right now, you're like, look, it used to be like 10% of people. Like, remember when it was just Q was the crazy thing?
Yeah.
Like, conservative ideas were like, you were a little bit annoying if you were a Trump fan, And so that was like, 89% of what the left hated was like, it's Trump fans are annoying. You guys need to go away. And then if you're Q, oh my God, you're the pit of the earth. You think that there's pedophile rings. You think that there's like satanic stuff. You think that there's like Democrats and Republicans and politicians involved in this with Hollywood and the music industry. You guys are the scum of the earth. That was like the way that it worked. And then it was like, now all of that's like, oh, I'm not saying all the Q stuff. I'm saying large components of the Q stuff is like, oh, they were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein and like 17 other things, Nixon and Keith Rainier and all these other, situations. And then now what's happened is the 89 percentile, the Republicans that were left in the other corner, started going over the course of the years when they watched everybody lie so much. They started waking up slowly.
Right.
And then when it came time for the election and all of the pre little reports that were coming out as far as like the bellwether districts or whatever they're called, and the Hispanic vote and all, and women voting
states.
and blacks voting and everything were coming forward and were looking all red and golden. And there's never been a president in history, from what I understand, who's got more votes for their second term and ever lost the election. Trump is the only one in history. So there was so many history-making weird discrepancies about this election that it woke up like 53% of the Republican Party thinks that Trump is the rightful president right now. That's a poll. So the little 10% of annoying Q people that used to be like, you idiot conspiracy theorists, now you're saying that to basically 25% of the country, if not more. And every single one of these audits that comes out that is like the Georgia ballot situation, the Maricopa County not having the
let's get into
password.
that.
All this stuff is what it's doing is it is creating the justification to be in the conspiracy camp. And by conspiracy, what we really mean is that people want to control things and are willing to break the law to do it. And they're very smart and very wealthy. And
The media has literally used the label conspiracy theorists that used to mean like real conspiracy, now to where anything that is opposite of the left agenda and narrative. And they are losing, they are losing their power. They are losing, people don't even take that word serious anymore. And a perfect example of this, and I do want to get into the election stuff here, is, I just posted a video this morning that the Media Matters released a statistic that for the first time, CNN could not hit, none of their shows on their entire day on Monday reached 1 million viewers. Like, there are influencers on social media right now that, like, Ross, you have a couple videos that have 3, 4, 5 million views, and you dropped them on TikTok. You were getting more views on your TikTok than CNN is getting for an entire show on a major. So they're losing their influence, which is this is a very good.
It's great.
It is awesome.
It's great. It's when you're a bullshitter, everybody stops hanging out with you. If you're the loser who lies about everything in the clique of buddies, and then your buddies find out, they just stop caring about you as a whole. They're just I don't know. Everything comes out of him is bullshit.
It's the boy that cried wolf.
The way you can tell though is the level of outrage that all of them were saying happened in the 2016 election. It was not safe. It was not fair. And then in this one, it is absolutely safe. It was absolutely fair. And any scrutiny of it is obviously a conspiracy theory. You guys are so ridiculous. Oh my God. It's you're so fake, man.
Let's get into the conspiracies, because this is what's going down. Let's talk about first Georgia, because the Democratic Party, the lawyers, the counties are freaking out. And also, elite rhino Republicans in some of these states, specifically Arizona and Georgia. But let's talk about Georgia right now, because
by rhinos, everybody, he means Republicans in name only, which means that they're sitting in a conservative seat, but they're not making conservative decisions.
Correct. And we actually just released a T-shirt on our website that says "Primary the Rhinos," so you guys should check it out. My shirt comes in like in 2 days. I'll be rocking it.
And it's got a dope red rhino on it.
It does.
Which I'm kind of mad that we made them look cool, the rhino, because it kind of looked like that rhino looks freaking cool. But it's like, all right, but it's still a cool shirt.
It is a cool shirt. Okay, so the lawyers representing Fulton County are trying to raise hell right now to stop this forensic audit. And again, there is a reason why they're trying to stop it, because there is truth that they do not want to get out. And think about this. there was a quote right now from the Fulton County chair that I read this morning, Rob Pitts, and he said in a statement, "It is outrageous that Fulton County continues to be the target of those who cannot accept the results of last year's election. The votes have been counted multiple times, including a hand recount, and no evidence of fraud has been found." But let's talk about something. Has Stacey Abrams even conceded yet from the 2018 election when she ran for governor and got her butt whooped by Governor Kemp? No, she never conceded. And so to say that this is a conspiracy or this is crazy and outlandish, here's a great stat that I found this morning in an article.
Wait, because Stacey Abrams
she ran for governor for Georgia, and she claimed that the election was stolen.
Yeah, so she in that state claimed it was stolen, and now they're saying it's not possible in 2020. You guys, that's why that mattered. I wanted to tell you guys that. Okay,
yes, and let's not forget Hillary Clinton said the exact same thing after 2016. She
told old Joe Biden, "Don't ever concede, bro."
She said not to concede. And even after the 2016 election, before even Joe Biden ran, she was saying that Trump stole the election and he knows it. He got away with it. So again, this whole thing that this is outrageous that we want to audit the vote. Take a hike. But this is a great stat. In 2016, this is a great statistic. There was a 6% rejection rate of absentee ballots in 2016. In 2020, the ballots were doubled, and it was almost 0%, 0.1% rejection rate. So you have 2 times more ballots. And just that stat alone is hold on. Normally, there's about, on average, in past elections, you have anywhere from a 5 to 7 to 8% rejection rate of absentee and mail-in absentee ballots. 0%, 0.1% of the ballots in 2020 were rejected. So it just shows that alone, which 6% is a ton of ballots.
Yeah. Well, and when you think about it, everybody, this bastard troll called me Lisp Boy, and it made me laugh my ass off. But now every time I talk, I think, do I have a lisp? But when you think about it, you've got 2016, they had, like you said, 6%, and then 2020, there's no way that they perfected the art of sending out the amount of absentee ballots that they did in the system because of the emergency that happened, 6 to 7 months before the election occurred. There was no way for them to have perfected and perfectly, fine-tuned the absentee ballot system so that it would only get that much of a problem. And so here's all we're saying. It's worth investigating, period. And if you have a problem with that, you're not on Team Democracy. Even though they keep trying to claim Team Democracy, it's not true. It's not true democracy unless everybody gets to feel like, you really want to have unity like you guys kept saying that you did. If you really want unity, then have the most elaborate forensic audit possible, broadcast the entire thing nationwide, and go, do you guys feel better now? Okay, awesome, because we do want you as part of the culture. But we know that they don't, Jordan. We know that the powers that be that are running this whole charade do not want to respect us. They want to shut us up. And in some cases, it has been advocated for that we be put into re-education camps.
It's a great point.
Literally. By people who have millions of followers.
That was a senior editor of CNN. That was that is what DC in the media thinks about America First, Republican, as they would say, right-wing, conspiracy theorists, whatever labels they want to put on. They want to put us in re-education camps. It's a great point, Ross. I'm so glad you brought that up.
And it's like, look, you don't get to say that sentence and then act like you want unity on the podium a little bit later, because Joe Biden might act like he's Joe Biden and his team is totally different. And the left, people that are absolutely batshit crazy like AOC, and the people calling for, the actual defunding of the police like Rashid Tlaib and all them, like, yo, we're not friends. I'm not your friend. I was willing to be your friend when you said we can probably find some common ground. I believe that you want the best for the country too. You didn't ask me that. Yep. You just decided that I was evil because I said that I don't think black people are actually that oppressed in the United States comparatively. And now I'm a white supremacist. I'm a Nazi. I'm all these things. Like, does everybody really think, if you're on the left, does everybody really think that all of your friends from 2014 that you hung out with every day became a Nazi in 2016? Like 70% of your white friends or conservative friends, like, you really think that they all just shifted into Nazi land? Like, you do know that, like, conservative people love World War II memorabilia because we kicked the Nazis' asses, right?
Right.
Like, it's one of the most enjoyable things is, like, watching Band of Brothers when they whip the Nazis' asses. Conservatives love that. And you act like we are the Nazis? Mind you, you guys are calling for Palestine to basically take over Israel. You're calling for that whole situation. And guess what flags Palestinians are holding while they stand on the border? The Nazi flag.
Right.
And you guys have the balls to call Israel the new Nazi? How upside down can you be when these people are saying that Israel is the new, like, Nazis? Now, I know that people say, sorry, I'm ranting, but I know that some people say, like, there's Zionists at the top of Israel that are controlling a lot of stuff, and I need to look into that. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but again,
that,
that's not even the issue when it comes. And again, we have so much to talk about. But again, when we talk about what's going on with Israel and Palestine, and specifically when it comes to the United States, is just the hate. I mean, the fact that you're seeing in the streets of the United States of America, in New York, in LA, in Dearborn, Michigan, in Portland, where, I mean, Jews are getting literally sought after as they're walking out of their schools. They're
set on
up,
fire.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. And that is what we need to call out. Again,
yeah, and so if you were really just caring about the Israel-Palestine situation and the actual fundamental land there, and you weren't racist, you wouldn't be attacking Jews in other places.
Exactly.
Period. You racist scumbags.
Yep, 100%. So let's get into some of this breaking news when it comes to the election. So specifically Georgia, I talked about this on the Tuesday podcast with Wake Up Belinda. I've also brought this up 2 times now on the Instagram lives. I'm just going to give a quick recap. As we know, I brought this. Ross, right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, which for those that are listening, we have this streaming on YouTube, so I can see Ross's facial expressions on certain things, and we.
He just almost said that weird Q word.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping we just kept going past it.
I'm still a 15-year-old down deep in there somewhere.
I love it. So again, on earlier this week, John Fredericks reported on, I believe it was on War Room and also on his show on America First, American One News, that there have been 6 signed affidavits. We know this. 30,000, up to 30,000 ballots are on a different paper. They're not mail-in ballots are on a different paper. They're not folded. They have the same circle bubble mark that's by a machine. None of them are handwritten in. 99% of them voted for Biden. 97% of them voted for Ossoff. 950 of these mail-in ballots that were military from these 30,000 on different paper. All 950 of them voted for Joe Biden. So that's what we know. We know this in Georgia. Well, we have more breaking news, which is great news, that it is being reported as of today by Boris and on War Room that Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are all moving towards not a county audit, a full forensic audit statewide, and Pennsylvania now is looking like the lead runner. So and this is all following what Arizona's lead. That's why everyone was like, Arizona's the first domino, because what is happening now in Arizona, we're seeing it already as on a forensic audit level on Fulton County in Georgia, which is now looking like it's going to probably go statewide. But now Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin are all getting in the fight. This is huge. This is huge because what happens? I mean, 2 Georgian senators, Birch and Beach, that both called for the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after this forensic audit. They said they have to get involved because what it's looking like is that we now have to have a full state forensic audit, which is where it's going to end up going with Georgia. And what they said was, if this happens and it proves to be fraud, and that there was not enough votes for Joe Biden to get the win, because I believe it's only like 13,000 votes in Georgia, they will call for a special session with Governor Kemp to certify the election.
Well, so who has the final say in that? Do you know, Jordan? Like, what does that mean? Like, hey, can we do this, Governor Kemp? And he's like, nah, they threatened my. Oh, by the way, you guys remember Governor Kemp's daughter had a boyfriend.
Yes.
Right after this whole thing happened, and if you look at the reports from what occurred, it was right when he announced that he was going to do a forensic audit the first time, right?
Yep.
And he was going to do it, and then the next day, his daughter's boyfriend
Blew up in a car.
Yeah, I didn't want to say blew up, but that's literally what like 60 people around it all reported. I just heard the biggest explosion. There's car doors like 45 feet away.
I saw the picture.
Yeah, dude, like it definitely does not look like this was a freaking accident.
It was not a car. I mean, and maybe.
And then all of a sudden, Kemp changes his mind on a couple things, and so
conspiracy theorists.
Right. And so at this point, my brain just has to go, okay, well, so here's the thing, guys. Get on the level with me real quick, okay? If everything from A to R happened that we're talking about, that all these states are doing, why would all these states be doing this, guys? Why are they all finding these things? Why is there 30,000 ballots that weren't even folded that were supposed to have been into the mail to the voter and then sent back to the mail into the precinct, right? So you've got all of these scenarios going on. So we've already worked all the way from A to R, then S through Z is not that wild to think that if all of those things occurred and they pulled off this massive thing, is it really wild to think that potentially the Chinese or somebody would actually try to, KILL people?
Right. And not only that, I don't even know if I necessarily believe that, when this election was stolen or where these ballots came from. Like, I don't even know if it's like the Democrats actually, I mean, maybe they did, but I mean, I believe it was Flynn that even said that he believes that where the mass fraud came in, and Mike Lindell, when it comes to the machines, this was an attack on China. And so, I mean,
You mean from China?
From China. So again, this.
Well, what's her name? Maria Zack with Nations to Action last night was on a show that I saw, and she's an individual like investigator. She's got a whole team with her or whatever, and she basically said, "We know exactly who did it. It was in Italy. It was the Leonardo thing that Obama and all them set up." Anyway, so I got to look more into that, but
yep. So
what are they going to do, though? What are they going to do, Jordan? So you see what happens every time this story or any real story start getting some steam, something derails it. Right. What do you think is going to derail this one? Because something damn well better, if you're the people trying to control all this and then you let it get out of hand without saying aliens are real and they're attacking next month, everybody get ready, or whatever. Like, forget about the election. We can't think about that. We got another problem, they got to pull out something.
They're trying to pull out. I mean, again, today, Fulton County lawyers just filed a motion to stop the audit in Fulton County. We saw in Arizona, they sent 100 lawyers to Arizona to stop the audit. But again,
Joe Biden's team.
Yes, the Democratic Party, the DNC sent, and not only that, they also got the Justice Department involved
to try and get involved.
To try to get involved and scare
you freaking
them.
Mafia bullies, dude.
Yeah, but the state, I mean, I will say this. Kudos to Republican, congressmen, legislators. I mean, they're stepping up. We are starting to see the spine come back. And the reason why is because the people are pissed. And like you said earlier, Ross, 53% of Republican voters believe the election was stolen. Majority of Republican voters believe that. And I actually think it's actually higher. Just they don't even want to answer those polls, which we've always seen. That's like, I don't want to be.
Yeah, and we know how these polls are actually conducted too. And here's the thing. People are so good. Like, dude, if I had a conversation with anybody, by the end of the conversation, they would at least say to me that it might have been possible that something happened. But nobody's giving these guys the facts in a way to sell it to them like they are the other direction. And it's like, because there's so many more facts on our side, we can just dominate that market. That's why I want to just debate these jokers so bad, dog.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, I can't wait.
And let's not forget, I mean, Arizona has been insane. We have 9 to 17% of the ballot batch numbers have been wrong. Like, they're opening up these batches where there's 500 ballots, and 17% of them, 12% of them, 9% of them, 9% of the minimum are missing. The ballots they're not even there. You
Yeah,
have
the ones that they're supposed to audit and to check, to forensically
Yes.
examine and go, is this legit? These guys are getting, like, imagine like a giant box of paper that is supposed to be 500 ballots. 17% of them, 9% of them, 12% of them are missing from the individual
Yeah.
boxes, guys. Like, how, like, I
How is
don't know
that
what to say
possible?
to that. How, yeah, you can't tell me that it's not within the realm of possibility that this occurred. And if you're on the right, if you're on the conservative side and you aren't on that train yet, hop on,
Yep.
because that is the question for the next 3 years. Is, like, they're branding all of us conspiracy theorists, whether it's you don't want to wear a mask because you've seen contradictory science behind it, whether you don't want the vaccine because you've seen the science behind that to some degree, or you've seen side effects, whether you don't think the election, like, basically they're just labeling you terrible if you don't just bend over and agree with them in whatever category. I'm sorry, you don't get to call me a conspiracy theorist in 9 categories that seem to be evident to 53% of half the voters, dude.
So true. No, it's completely true. We have to stay on target. And I think the whole point of this conversation is to encourage every single person that's listening is to not let the media distract you from what is really important and what is the target. There's 2 targets that we need to focus on right now. And yes, there are other conversations that need to be had: critical race theory, the education system, the school board, which we are going to start having some of these conversations and as the guests start coming in. But right now, we must make sure that the what is on the front of our minds is, number one, what the heck happened on November 3rd, 2020, and what the heck happened at the Wuhan Lab of Virology. And I think this is a great transition into the next part of this discussion because, I mean, Ross, I know you've been researching this a little bit, and I'm looking at a CNN article right now, May 5th, 2020. Actually, let me see if I can bring.
Yeah, do you have the other one from 2016 first? I do. I've got like 100 of them. I'll read you the headlines. Let me just read this to you guys so you guys can hear the headlines so that you can have great examples. And I made a funny video about this recently because somebody put it on the internet. Anyway, all right, so here. This is from 2019. Senator Tom Cotton, this is from New York Times. Senator Tom Cotton repeats fringe theory of coronavirus origins. Scientists have dismissed suggestions that the Chinese government was behind the outbreak, but it's kind of a tale that gains traction among those who see China as a threat. Fast forward to now, guys, and this is the new one the New York Times wrote. Another group of scientists calls for a further inquiry into the origins of the coronavirus. Researchers urge an open mind, saying that lack of evidence leaves theory of natural spillover and laboratory leak both viable.
Wow.
All right, New York Times. Who's next? CNN. Lab leak COVID-19 theory is like something out of a comic book, virologist says. This was March 31st of back then, whatever. And then you've got new information on Wuhan researchers' illness, further debate on pandemic origins.
Unreal.
Yeah, dude. And then
Unfreaking-
let me read one more. CNN, or no, this one's Washington Post. Tom Cotton keeps repeating a coronavirus conspiracy, yet he acknowledged that there's no evidence that the disease originated in a lab. And then today, or the other day, the vexing lab leak is what Washington Post says. It has become evident that some corners of the mainstream media overcorrected when it came to one particular theory from Trump and his allies that the coronavirus may have come from a laboratory.
Wow.
That's right. We've been saying it all along, folks. Mike Pompeo said it forever ago that it was likely. We know a lot of info about this, and I'll go into it in a minute whenever.
Well,
you're ready.
and again, I mean, I'm looking at an article right now. May 5th, 2020, Anthony Fauci just crushed Donald Trump's theory on the origins of coronavirus. May 23rd, 2021, a little past the year. Fauci not convinced COVID developed naturally. I mean, like, again, we all remember. I mean, Trump.
You remember being
Said
treated
the
like
China
shit for saying
virus,
this.
the China virus, the China virus. Trump made sure that we knew where this came from and that he was not convinced that this came from some stupid bat in a bowl of soup. I mean, like the fact that that's what that. I mean, I want to hear like the senior editors or whoever planned this conspiracy. I'm going to call this a conspiracy. That like, okay, how can we get how can we get the general public to believe that this did not come from the lab? I got it. I got it, sir. What is it? What is it? I say that it came from a bat, and the bat got into a bowl, a bowl of soup. Someone drank that soup, and then it spread worldwide. Genius! Like that. This
Genius, genius, ding, ding, ding. We have a winner, folks. Sign that guy up.
Oh my goodness! Talk about
how
a conspiracy.
Yeah, and the reason it's so nuts too is because so everybody who's wondering if you've heard the phrase gain of function
Yes.
research, what that means is that means if you found a virus in nature somewhere, you were trying to figure out how to use it for something. Just like if you found electricity somewhere and we're like, what the hell? How do I use this? So they basically want to use things for things. Okay. That's the goal. That's if you're a doctor, that's what you're doing. And sometimes, right? Well, a woman by the name of Bat Lady is the nickname for, but it's actually Dr. Zhengli Shi.
Maybe this is where the conspiracy came from, Bat Lady.
Yeah, well, the reason they call her the Bat Lady was because in 2015 she successfully took a virus out of a horseshoe bat and attached it with the backbone of a mouse virus and put them together to make it effectively be able to transmit to human beings. This was in 2015, Jordan.
Wow.
So the idea of gain of function research being used to take bat viruses and make them be able to affect humans is not only possible, but it's like probable. They have done it. The question was, is this that one? And so anyway, let me just give you the breakdown on this so you guys can kind of understand.
Why do they even need to figure out how to turn a virus into a human?
I don't know the answer to that. I think that there is components of the medical industry that is attempting to figure out how they can combat other problems like AIDS and stuff like that. And they need to have like there is certain things that use AIDS and HIV as a delivery system to the body to make your body do something weird. I have heard that. So they've used weird stuff for stuff in the purpose as a vehicle to get your body to do different things. But I'm not going to talk out of my ass. I don't know that much. But here's what I do know. Fauci basically said that, there was no funding that went to the Wuhan lab for gain of function research. Okay. That's what he said. So I'm going to read you guys this. I'm not going to read this to you, but I'm just going to break it down in your mind so you guys can understand. Cause I just got done. Actually, you know what? We just released an article on Speak Truth Without Fear that is the full summary and the more detailed version of what I'm about to say to you guys. Okay.
Shout out to Melissa.
Shout out Melissa. Our team put this together. We had a researcher on it. Shout out Stephanie. I'm not going to say her full name because whatever. And we had a couple other researchers. But anyway, Fauci said no. We didn't give them gain of function research. When he was pressed, he said, I'll tell you what he said in a second. Okay. Fauci works for the National Institute of Health. The National Institute of Health gave $7.4 million to the Wuhan Institution of Virology. Okay. Now, the National Institute of Health also gave EcoHealth Alliance a chunk of money, and then they subcontracted out the work that they were supposed to do to guess who? Bat Lady.
No
Dr.
way.
Zhengli Shi. Yep. That's what happened. So when Fauci was asked recently by this was in 2000. Those were things were in 2019, by the way. So when Fauci was asked about could they have spent the money that we sent to them on gain of function, he basically said, well, they haven't lied to us we don't know that they've lied to us before. They said that they didn't. We're talking about China saying that they didn't use the funds to do gain of function research. Dog, when China had a train accident, you guys can look this up. When China had a massive train accident, like one of their nice trains or something that was like a public spectacle of some sort, derailed with civilians on the carts, instead of being like, damn, we need to fix this, They literally called for like every bulldozer and thing in the area with civilians still inside the train carts. They were like, everybody literally go bury the train so nobody can see this.
Shut up.
Yes. So like we're now, okay, second thing. We're also talking about the China that knew that when this was happening, they stopped travel from Wuhan into any parts of China. They did not let people from Wuhan enter China,
Yep.
but allowed those people from Wuhan, without saying a word, to go to all of the other countries. There was some kind of a sporting event, I don't remember what it was, that all of these different nations were coming to, and they were letting them come in and then go back to their countries, but they weren't letting people from other parts of China come in and then go back out. They had to stay in Wuhan. For more than 2 weeks, they were doing this, guys. So that's
do you remember?
China.
And do you remember when Trump banned travel from China? And after Trump banned from China, Joe Biden said, "Oh, this is racist. This is racist.
Xenophobic.
This is xenophobic." Nancy Pelosi is taking a stroll in Chinatown in San Francisco, and she does a whole press release as she's walking. Look, it's completely safe. This is completely safe.
Standing within like 30 people of 10 feet of her.
Yep.
Just spreading that corona, if you believe in that. If you follow her line, they have to believe in it. So she was just a mass dispenser of COVID amongst all those perfectly innocent Chinese people she was trying to virtue signal with. She was using them as props.
The media hammered Trump for doing that. And then the moment that the deaths start racking up and all the numbers start coming up, Trump didn't do enough. Trump didn't do this. It's like, dude, could you imagine if Trump would not have closed the border from China? Like how many more numbers or deaths or whatever that would have looked like?
I can't. I don't really know because I don't even know how many people COVID actually killed.
True. And that's actually.
Is it 700 or 500,000?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what I think. We just had Nurse Aaron on our show, or it's actually not on Speak Truth Without Fear, but Speak Truth Without Fear was on the live
on Ross's Instagram.
If you guys go to my Instagram, you can see we had this just the other day. Nurse Aaron, she was the one who went undercover in the hospitals with her spy glasses that record audio and video, so that she could verifiably, without anybody being able to debunk her, say no, they were intentionally killing people and mistreating them for the purpose of financial gain.
Wow.
And so the numbers were certainly, skewed from an objective standpoint. I can give you 9 other stories if you want.
Well, the hospitals were getting $13,000, and this is what Aaron said, $13,000 per bed that was filled. I mean, think about that.
For COVID.
For COVID. So if they diagnose someone with COVID in her hospital, the hospital is getting paid $13,000 per bed that was filled for COVID. And then what was the numbers for a ventilator?
The nurses were making $10,000 a week too. So I'm sure a lot of them had a good incentive to just shut the hell up and keep going with the flow. And then if they got on the ventilator, it was either $37,000 or $42,000.
It was 37. Yeah,
$37,000 to get on the ventilator. And so what they were doing, everybody who's listening, was they were bringing people in who had anxiety and stuff like that. And they were going, "What's going on? Are you short of breath?" And they go, "Yeah, I don't know what's going on," because you're scared, you're nervous, and anxiety can mimic so many symptoms. And they go, "Okay, we're going to get you a COVID test. But for now, we're going to put you in the rule out section of the hospital," which means that they're going to wait to just make sure you didn't have COVID. But they put you on the ventilator right when they brought you in some of those scenarios, and they sedate you so that you're not freaking out when there's a tube that goes down your throat or whatever, however it works. They sedate you, and then you basically aren't able to see yourself slowly withering away because they got paid for deaths too, I believe.
Wow. Yeah, no, they did.
And so anyway, that's what she saw and
they were encouraged to label someone. You could have someone that was literally dying from cancer, and they had 1 month to live, and then they give them a COVID test and it says COVID, and then that person isn't labeled on their death certificate that they died from cancer, even though that's what they really died from. They died from COVID and the reason why is because they were getting compensated for racking up these numbers, and there's a reason why. The reason why is now who was paying them, the government, whoever. The reason why is because and we saw this with CNN, the Project Veritas leak, that wanted to keep the COVID count up, and that they would actually celebrate and cheer on the COVID graph to go up higher, because
Yeah,
they
the
would,
death toll.
the death poll, because
Because if it bleeds, it leads.
Yes.
If it's scary, it sells.
this is evil. This is pure evil
Yeah,
propaganda.
but it's also not like they're not all like whoever decided on this, guys. Whoever was the 13 people that sat around and were like, "Here's what we're gonna do."
Yeah.
They are geniuses,
Yeah.
guys. You have to realize what we are fighting against, man. Like, think of your own family that has basically been like, like, you just breathed on me. That's an infraction. You're evil. They have convinced, guys. Like, it's not as bad now, but 1 week ago, it was exactly as bad as it was 7 months ago. If you were not wearing a mask, you were a pariah.
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that MIT, Stanford, multiple virologists have all come out and said, and the former vice president of Pfizer, the damn vaccine manufacturer, has
Literally.
all said that masks don't work the way that you're pretending that they do. Aerosol spread's a big deal. If you touch a mask, it doesn't work anymore. It's worse than you having no mask. If you use the same mask for 20 minutes, it's worse than you having no mask. And your family and other friends treated people like they were cast outs because of this. How much control does the media and the health organizations of the world and these politicians and these Hollywood people, they have the perfect death grip on your brain from everywhere. And that is what Speak Truth Without Fear is freaking here for.
Come on.
Because we're going to go into the belly of the beast and stab this freaking bastard right in the soul and go, debate me, bitch, we'll win.
No, 100%. That is why we created this. Again, and not too many people. We talked about this on the first episode of when Ross was on, that, what we saw on January 6th and how the media portrayed it, that was the first time that we both experienced, oh my gosh, like, these are full on, and we knew that there was fake news, but we actually experienced it on a personal level. It happened to us. And that is why we are having these conversations. We're not just having these conversations just to get clicks or get views or get subscribers. Everyone needs to be informed of what is happening. And the encouraging thing is, like we talked about earlier, on CNN, their numbers are dropping, which means, and who watches CNN? The left, which shows that people on the left are not tuning in anymore because they're beginning to distrust the mainstream media. And that's why people are turning to voices all over social media.
Yeah, like, you might have called us weird, 3 years ago, but now you're going, well, the other side just seems so stupid.
Again, who would you trust, CNN or Alex Jones?
Yeah, Alex Jones. But I would just take I would believe that Alex Jones is telling the truth. Man, those compilation videos of Alex Jones saying sorry after he flips out are some of the funniest shit I have ever seen. And ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back for you. It's 1776, you hellish bastards! I'm sorry, this is a family event, and I didn't mean to do that, but we were just got me riled up here. I apologize. Forgive me.
That is so funny. It's so true. But again, I think.
But dude, here's the deal. He has been fighting the octopus that we are now starting to see the tentacles of, and we're going, oh, shit.
Yep.
He was right.
Yeah.
He was right. The CIA is corrupt, dog.
The FBI.
They are messing with these frogs. They did do weird stuff with them that mess with people's DNA. Anyway,
yes.
There's so much, man, that anyway, maybe I'll see if we can get him on a show sometime.
That would be epic. That would be absolutely epic. So again, I think that's great for today. Again, the point of today's conversation was one, stay on target. Do not let the media distract. Turn off the mainstream media. Again, don't forget, Monday through Thursday, every night at 9 p.m., we are talking about what's going on currently every single day. We get all of our information from independent journalists that are there. They are on the ground. It's not going through a filtered propaganda machine. Stay on target. The two things that only matter right now. We don't care about 2022. We don't care about 2024. The only two things that really matter right now in this day is, number one, we got to get to the bottom of November 3rd 2020. So if you live in one of these 5 or 6 swing states, call your representatives, start putting pressure. Hey, we need an audit. Let them hear your voice. Number 2, we need to get to the bottom of what happened with the coronavirus and where this came from with the Wuhan lab. And it is starting to look, I mean, Fauci is on the defense. Bill Gates is on the defense. They're freaking out. And there's a reason why the media is panicking. There is a reason why Rachel Maddow is having these meltdowns every single night and freaking out. And there's a reason, because we are on target. And let's not get distracted. Let's stay focused on what matters. Ross, do you have any final thoughts?
No, man. Let's go.
All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. Don't forget,
God bless everybody. Yeah, y'all have a good day.
Don't forget www.speaktruthwithoutfear.com. Please put in your email. We don't know how much longer we're going to be on this Instagram platform for the lives. Me and Ross and the team are starting to research other platforms that we're going to be hosting these live shows. Put in your email. It's the one way that we cannot be disconnected from you if Instagram does take us down. RossDuhBoss, what's your Instagram is RossDuhBoss_, correct?
Yeah, RossDuh, D-U-H.
D-U-H, boss _. Mine is Jordan Sarmo, JordanSarmo. Again, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, you're listening to this on the Google Play, we also have these on YouTube and Rumble. All you got to do is search Speak Truth Without Fear if you're at home and you want to watch these podcasts and watch Ross's cute little face as he has his rants and my awesome face. Then join us on YouTube. Please give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a rating. It really helps us with the algorithm. We're out.